Hey everybody. Hey everybody. This is CJ. I apologize for earlier. Um, yeah, I'm driving. Hey Steve, what's up, buddy? I apologize for earlier. I was trying to do the live feed, and I got a phone call from one of my friends. Busted out the live feed. No big deal. Sorry. But I'll try to go ahead and continue now. So audio's okay. Steve, you got audio? Can you hear me okay? Okay. It looks like you're the only one here so far, Steve. Okay, we got two now. Okay, there we go. Thank you. Okay, guys, I'm just going to go ahead and continue with contracts, the banking and finance extension of contracts and contracts in commerce and all this other stuff. So I'll just recap real quick on the first part of the earlier video. Understanding the four conditions for contracts to be legal, lawful, and binding. And that is, the four conditions are, excuse me, meeting of the minds. And number two is full disclosure. Number three is a consideration has to be afforded or presented or exchanged between the binding parties. And of course, the fourth, if you will, has to be inked. It has to be acknowledged and inked and certified by both parties. Once again, it's fundamental. It's fundamental contract law. And if you are not exercising those provisions in basic contract law, then you're being frauded and you're not getting full disclosure, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And when we talk about signing promissory notes, because that's what a contract is essentially in these situations, car loans or home mortgages or whatever, it's a promissory note. Promissory note means promise to pay at a future date. It is a promise to pay. So, whenever you get a cell phone, you are executing a promissory note. When you get a cell phone contract or you get a contract for service with a cell phone provider, you are executing a contract. Okay? And I was just talking to another friend a few minutes ago about conditional acceptance. That's another key term in contracting or making presentments for contract or commerce is conditional acceptance. When you sign up for your electric service at your house, okay, that is a conditional acceptance. It is a contract. You're accepting their terms of service. They're a service provider. You're accepting those terms. You are conditionally accepting by contract. And if I'm going too fast, whatever, if you're not understanding these terms, I know a lot of it's fundamental, but if you're not understanding these terms, pull out your Black's Law Dictionary. Pull out. Just go to law.cornell.edu or find law findlaw.com or .org, whatever it is, and look up these terms. These are commercial terms. These are legal and lawful terms. Use the resources. It's free. It doesn't cost anything. Just go out and do it. Google it if you have to. Whatever. Google it, DuckDuckGo it, whatever you want. But learn the terms. Learn the terminology. If you don't, and I said this last night too, if you don't get the fundamentals down, then you ain't getting out of the corral. You're just going to stay in the corral. You're going to remain a sheeple. Once you start getting knowledgeable and you understand these fundamental terms and concepts, then you get that little feeling like things are clicking and you're gaining knowledge, you're gaining power. Hey Barbara, sorry I'm driving, so I can only look at the screen temporarily there. Hi Barbara, how are you? Mark, what's up, brother? Hope you're doing well. So if you don't understand the fundamental concepts of contract commerce, whatever else, get familiar, dive in, get out there. Use the resources that are out there. I like free resources. Cornell Law, Justia, JUSTIA.com, FindLaw.com, Black's Law, American Jurisprudence, Second Edition. I have most of those, like Black's Law, American Jurisprudence, Federal Rules of Civil Procedure. I've been uploading them to the group in ACH. They're there. If you just go back and look at my posts, you can try to access them. They're on Google Drive, so you just sign in with your Gmail, whatever, and access the files, and it'll pop up it'll give me an alert, and I just hit give access. I don't retain any information I don't have the ability to do that. I don't want to do that. It's not my business. So I just hit give access and it goes. So use the resources out there. Get familiar with the terms. Okay, so let's get back to it. So contract commerce fundamentals. So I think before I got bumped off the last video here, that I got an incoming call and it bumped off the live feed. Sorry, guys. So before I got bumped off, we were talking about FICO. Now, I want to preface that. I should have prefaced it earlier, but I'm just going to talk about living within your means. And everybody loves credit cards. Everybody loves lines of credit, right? Everybody does, right? It's easy. It's way too easy to get lines of credit cards, whatever, extensions of credit, business credit, whatever else, right? Business credit is a whole different thing. I've done three businesses of my own over the years, so I understand that. But that's a different animal than consumer credit. It's in the same system, but it's a different animal. So let me say this, and I've posted this before in the group multiple times. If you were living totally within your means, why would you give a crap about a FICO score? Well, everybody would say, well, CG, you got to have credit. How are you gonna survive if you don't have credit? Well, wait a minute. Full disclosure, I am just about completely debt free. How did I do that? Well, I was very careful what terms, conditions, contracts, and commerce that I selected to partake of or not partake of over the last. It probably took me from start to finish. It probably took me to clear everything else and get free probably about 4.5 years. Just to do that, just hitting it once in a while, slow and easy, and getting things removed from my credit report and all that. But if you lived within your means, in other words, you didn't have to have a credit card, you didn't have to get that extension of credit. It's all fake money. It's all. See, credit cards are subliminal animals. You know why I call them that? Because it's just in your head. It makes you feel good. It releases the endorphins. They just gave me a credit card with $1,000 or $5,000 limit. I'm going to go out and spend that money. Well, it's not really money. It's not really yours. It's just the hook, the hook that lands the fish, right? They make it. They tell you that the FICO score is the standard. You have to meet these FICO score standards, your credit scores. Go out there and get with Credit Karma and everybody else. Well, if you were living within your means and you only paid cash, or you only bought what you could only afford without digging a deep hole, isn't that living a lot more free? I would think so. Kind of common sense, right? So I don't think I've gotten a credit report or a FICO score. Not because I wouldn't want to look at what kind of data they're holding on me, but I haven't. Oh God, it's probably been 5, 6, 7 years now. I don't know. Because I live totally within my means. Yeah, I invest in precious metals. I do take the free money from my employer in a 401k, even though I know it's fraud. Did you guys know that 401k is actually a section of the IRS code? Internal Revenue Code. That's where 401 comes from. I learned that probably 8 or 10 years ago. I was like, wow. That's how it originated anyway. So, but if you lived within your means only, why would you care about a FICO score? Why would you care about having to execute contracts in commerce for an extension of credit? Quote unquote free money. No, not for me. Not for me. So therefore, once you get the fundamentals down of contracts in commerce, you're contracting 24/7, as I said last night. Once you get these concepts down, you get to choose. You get to choose how much bondage you want. Maybe I shouldn't say that. Don't take that out of context, please. I know some of you are laughing. You get to choose, let's just say, the size of the chains that imprison you. But once you cut yourself loose of some of this stuff, rescind, remember we talked about that last night, rescind the contracts, okay? Let me give you an example. This is so basic and so fundamental. Let me give you an example. When you get, you know how every year, maybe once or twice a year, like you'll get a notice from your cell phone company in the mail, and it says, we just want to make sure that you're updated on our new terms of service. Well, how many of you read the subject line and then throw it in the trash? When you get a notice in the mail like that, unless you rebut their presumptions, if you don't know what that means, rebut their presumptions. They are noticing you, whether it's an electric company, whether it's a credit card company, whether it's whatever. You have contracted in commerce with these entities, okay, these commercial entities, service providers, whatever you want to call them. You have contracted in commerce. So if you don't rebut their presumptions that you are going to accept what any new terms or conditions they are noticing you on via the U.S. mail or whatever the case may be, you know what that's called, folks? That's called unrebutted tacit acquiescence. When you acquiesce, you submit. Correct? This is fun, folks. This is a fun thing. This is a fun thing. Hi, Deidre. How are you? Kanisha. I hope I'm saying that right. When you get these notices in the mail, I think I said in one of my videos a long time ago, maybe I posted it, I can't remember, but how many of you don't like going to your mailbox? How many of you don't like going to your mailbox? I used to hate opening up that damn thing. whether it was communications from the IRS, from a state tax agency, from a credit card company, from a business contract that I had years ago, whatever. I used to hate going to my mailbox. But remember we talked about shifting the mindset, mind shift, right? We talked about that last night. Having a whole different mindset of how you approach each day as a contractor in commerce, right? I love going to my mailbox now. You know why? And I think this is part, if you're going to take charge of your life, your financial life, your commercial affairs, whatever, this is part of the mind shift, folks. When anybody sends you a notice or new terms and conditions or updated investment advice, or investment portfolio advice, whatever else, these companies are very, very sneaky. They thrive on tacit acquiescence, unrebutted notices. They thrive on that because as long as they can show that they sent out a notice to you or they can prove it, that's another point I'm going to cover in a second. As long as they can show that you were in receipt of the new terms and conditions and you didn't bother to object, rebut, challenge, you didn't do any of that, they got you. The next time you make a payment on that credit card after they sent you that notice, guess what? Guess what you just did? You know what you did. You conditionally accepted by making a payment of the continuing terms of that contract. If you didn't know you were doing that, you know now. So, it's kind of a wake-up moment, right? Maybe you didn't know. I'm not saying anybody's ignorant. I'm just saying maybe you didn't know. It's just what you thought you should do or what you thought you were expected to do. Okay, fine. Let's move on. I love my mailbox now. You know why? Because what does the mailbox do for me? The mailbox, and again, this is not egotistical, but I'm just saying this the way I'm saying it, okay? The mailbox is an opportunity. Okay? Yep, back at the job. Christy, there is a misconception that we must accept the NW. Okay. Accept the. Okay. CJ's that's not clicking in my head, but okay, Christy. Yeah, there are lots of misconceptions out there that we must accept new terms, I guess, maybe? Or is that what you're trying to say? Sorry. Oh, yeah, new terms. Okay. Gotcha. That's what I thought you meant. Okay. I love my mailbox because my mailbox is an opportunity for me every day of the week. I love my mailbox because it provides me the opportunity to address the bastards that are raping me. There ain't no better word for it, okay? They're pirating my wealth. They're pirating my sweat equity. They're pirating my labor and wages, whatever, okay? They're taking from Caesar. I am Caesar. I am Caesar. Repeat after me. I am Caesar. You can't take from Caesar what's not yours. Be your own Caesar. Love your mailbox. I'm scared. I don't want to open my mailbox. I hate my mailbox. Look at the mailbox as an opportunity. When you get electronic or digital notices from your service providers, from those you've contracted in commerce with, open those emails. It's a chance for you to learn. It's a chance for you to learn. It's an opportunity because if you don't take the reins of the horse will take the carriage down the road in a very unsafe manner. Control the horse, right? Take control of what's going on because If you're not committed to that, don't come at me. You guys ever see that T-shirt that says "Come at me, bro"? It's one of my favorite T-shirts. Come at me, bro. Bring it. I say bring it on because when I started loving my mailbox, um, every single, and this is part of the mind shift, folks, the mindset, okay? When you get something in the mail, you get something on the computer, an email from a service provider or a contractor in commerce. When you get these things, you start learning the language of commerce. You open that envelope, you open that email, you start learning the language of commerce. In the process of learning the language of commerce, what regulates commerce, what dictates commerce, what regulates fundamental contract law, things such as your state statutes, your state civil codes and procedures, your state taxation and revenue codes. When you get these notices, communications, feedback letters, whatever it is from these people, from these entities, these companies, these corporations, you take that, maybe it's let's say it's a one-page notice, right? You take that notice off. Here's a key concept, okay? Let's just say it's a new terms and conditions notice for your credit card, right? If they make a claim, if they make a change to your contract of service, if they make a change to your commercial terms, right? And you don't object, you don't rebut, you don't challenge it, it's tacit acquiescence. You accept it. It's tacit acquiescence. You accept it. So when you get, let's say it's a one-page notice, right? One-page letter and one-page notice in the mail, right? And this is part of the mindset or the mind shift, okay? Mindset shift, right? Start dissecting that correspondence. Start dissecting it. A lot of times they'll give you citations of codes, laws, IRS codes, whatever the case may be. They'll cite why they quote unquote have the authority to do what they're doing. What is the substantiation for what they do? If you don't understand what's being communicated to you, find a way to understand it. Use the resources and tools out there to understand it. This video is kind of pointed at the action stage of what you should be starting to do after you understand the fundamentals. Okay? Once again, folks, you are contracting 24/7, 365. Well, maybe not 365, but you're contracting 24/7. So if you're not going to take the action to understand what these people are forcing upon you in commerce, because remember from last night, you are a commercial entity. You are a huge dollar sign. If you don't get that now, I don't know what to tell you. If you don't understand that now, I don't know what to tell you. So you are a huge dollar sign. You're at the archery range, man. You're at the archery range, and there's a bunch of people lined up on the line with bows and arrows, and they're just waiting to shoot them arrows at you. I mean, you might as well just put a big old red dollar sign on your ass because they're waiting for you, and they're shooting for the target all the time. But you know what I do? I know some of you are going to laugh. I move the target down range, or I pick up the target and I run to make it hard for them. That's what I do. I make it extremely hard for them to hit the target. So understand the fundamentals, folks. if you want to start loosening those chains up, you have to be very proactive. You have to love your mailbox. You have to understand the fundamentals. And as soon as you can understand that, maintain it, and execute it, make the challenges, you're going to start feeling a little bit more happier. Because through these processes of challenging and rebutting different presentments and things that are thrown at you, you're going to start learning a lot of things. One of my favorite publications is the Fair Debt Collection and Practices Act, the FDCPA. Okay? You know why the FDCPA was created? Because folks like us got tired of the bullshit. We got tired of the bullshit. And enough people petitioned the courts, got into communities, organized, petitioned the federal government to say, hey, we've had enough. We've had enough. And it took a long time to get the FDCPA promulgated, enacted into law, actually. So if you need Black's Law Dictionary, if you need dissolving your debt type of stuff, if you need, did I say Black's Law? If you need Black's Law, if you need the FDCPA, let me know. Inbox me, messenger me, whatever. I'll send them to you, whatever. Or I'll post them in the group. You can download them again. Start using the tools. Start using the tools. If you don't use the tools, you can't build your house. You can't build your house. So, let's see. I am Caesar. I take back my power. Christy McCann. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. I am Caesar. Say it after me. I am Caesar. Do not take from Caesar what is not yours, or suffer the consequences for trying. So, with that, if there's nothing else pending, folks, I'm going to cut this one because I gotta move on with a portion of my day here. So, out here working. So, I need a haircut. Sorry, guys. Okay. Any other questions? Anything else you guys want to pop in? Real quick, I got just a couple minutes here. I can stand by if you guys have some questions or anything you want to throw out there. I'll give it just a couple minutes here. If there's anything else you want to throw in, let me review a little bit of this. New terms. I don't know if I said hi, Barbara Evans. Hi, how are you? Steve Clark. Okay, Steve. Maybe he's here. Maybe he's not here anymore. I don't know. I'm just standing by to see if anybody else has any comments or questions or anything like that, anything I can expound on for you. The whole idea behind this is to get the fundamental base, going here. Everybody has to start somewhere. I know a lot of people are way more advanced than what I'm talking about. I understand that. I respect that. But I am just trying to get the fundamentals out there. Just to give you an idea of current lineups coming down the line. I am going to do a video on still kind of following the line of commercial affairs, commercial contracts, and if you don't know what the UCC is, that stands for Uniform Commercial Code. That was enacted, I want to say it was 1954 or 64. I have it in reference. I don't have it with me right now. Okay, Blacks First. Mark is asking for Blacks First. Is it worth it to find a copy of Blacks First? I prefer, this is what I recommend, Mark. I recommend Black's Law 4th through 6th editions. And I have 4th and 5th on PDF. Just message me if you want it. I can shoot it over to you. I would not recommend 1st because between 1st and 4th, a lot of those provisions, I've looked at them before, actually. I had them years ago. They have really warped and bastardized Black's Law, especially after the fifth edition. They really started bastardizing it, and what I mean to say is that um, they started omitting key provisions. They started hiding a lot of stuff from the public because um, public started getting smarter and smarter, and I mean, just basically, fundamentally speaking. So they started cutting out. If you take an edition of Black's Law Fourth Edition and you look at, let's say, Sixth Edition, and you look at the same um, even the same table of contents, um, and you look at the provisions and go and if you had them right next to each other and went to both sections, you would see changes just between the fourth and the sixth. So what you do, here's a key concept for you folks. Um, One of my favorite sites, and you all have probably, yes sir, yes Mark, on PDF. Okay, you have fourth. Okay, I have fourth through seventh or eighth. Yeah, I would say fourth through sixth. That's my Bible. Fourth, fifth, or sixth edition. And I have fourth and fifth. I may have sixth. I can't remember if I have sixth on PDF, but I know I have fourth and fifth on PDF. So if you need them, just message me, whatever. But here's a key concept, folks. And this is, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter which version of Black's Law Dictionary you have. I'm just going to just generally say that. You know why? Because one of my favorite sites to visit, and I'm usually pulling stuff out of there all the time, is law, dot Cornell, CORNELL.edu. Okay? I love that site. It's, law reference site because, well, for several reasons. Two of the biggest reasons are the way that laws, codes, definitions, terminologies are presented at law.cornell.edu is, if you go there and you look on the right side of the page, there'll be a little tab called Notes. Let's say you're looking up the IRS code, right? IRS title, just type in Title 26, right? Which is the Internal Revenue Code. That's the Internal Revenue, right? So you type that in, and it'll bring up IRS 26, right? Say you want to look at a specific section, title, or subsection, or whatever of Title 26. You bring it up. Let's say you do Title 26, subsection 83. On the right side of the page, it'll have a little tab that says Notes. And what those great folks at law.cornell.edu do is that they keep all the current revisions, updates, changes to any site, terminology, definition. They give you explanations of when it was changed, why it was changed, what was stricken from the previous to the current. Justia.com or .org, I can't remember what it is, JUSTIA, and findlaw.com, findlaw.com, have similar tools on their sites too, but I like law.cornell.edu. It's pretty damn good. But remember before, a while ago, when I was telling you about using these references, using these free resources that are out there, they are there for usage. They're not there. They're dynamic. They shouldn't be static in anybody's library. They should be dynamic, always changing, always evolving. Use the tools that are out there. You don't have to go out and spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars on reference books like I did years and years ago. With the digital availability of a lot of these references and tools, it's free. Yeah, we all know the whole deal with Google and Facebook. We know they're fantastic, right? But I use the hell out of them. I mean, as far as search and reference, I use Google, DuckDuckGo, Bing, whatever, Black's Law, Cornell, FindLaw, Justia, whatever it is. I use them all, and I'm ferocious with it. I get on something and I'll research a site or a citation or a law or terminology, and thinking I'm going to be on there 10, 15 minutes, 3 hours later, I'm in there looking at all kinds of stuff. So, great resources. if you're not going to be proactive, if you're not going to take an active role in your prosperity, then that's your own damn fault. If you're not going to take the time, there's sometimes I work 11, 12 hours a day and I go home and I research for 3 hours after that. So, if you're not going to take it back, remember last night I said, if you don't value your prosperity, somebody else is going to. Somebody else is going to monetize, capitalize you, change your terms and conditions of your contracts in commerce. If you don't rebut, challenge, do the research, love your mailbox. If you don't do those things, you're staying in the shallow end of the pool. Come into the deep end. That's where the action's at. So, any other questions? Any other comments? I need to get moving on with the rest of my tail end of my workday here. So, if no other questions or comments, thanks for watching. I hope this is kind of like step 2 on the fundamentals. So we talked about, just recapping yesterday, we talked about knowing what consent means, knowing what contracting means, maintaining a balance between the public and private in commerce as you need to accordingly, right? Manage your business accordingly. Today we talked about fundamentals of what a contract in commerce is. What are the conditions that we set forth that need to be present or presented for a valid binding contractual agreement. And we talked about fundamentals, we talked about resources, we talked about the Federal Reserve, how the banks get their money. Part 1 of the video, before I was bumped off the last one, I think it's posted it's in the group somewhere. You got to find it. And again, I apologize for being bumped off, but anyway, fundamentals, and then we talked about a little bit about what's coming up. We're going to be doing presentations on the Uniform Commercial Code. That's coming up either next or very soon. We're also going to get into the foundations and fundamentals of trusts, trust and trust law. There are so many great resources out there. You are conducting commerce within your own business trust, per se. You are a business. You're a commercial entity. You're in the business of self. So if you don't start learning how to conduct that business, if you don't learn the mechanics, if you don't learn the fundamentals, if you don't learn fundamentals of contract, fundamentals of commerce, fundamentals of trust law. If you don't learn the Uniform Commercial Code, the fundamentals of it, how to search it, what are the key sections that apply to you. There's 9, just on the Uniform Commercial Code alone, there's 9 key sections that address 9 different areas of commerce. If you don't know that now, if you didn't know that before, you know it now. So there are 9 key sections: UCC 1, UCC 2, UCC 3, all the way up through UCC 9, effectively. They are very powerful, very powerful. Keep in mind, the UCC was developed around the turn of the last century. It started being developed because these big wigs in commerce, these big corporations that have huge monopolies and everything else, it was mainly for control, monitoring and control, but they wanted a uniform system of being able to conduct commerce in a uniform way that would apply equally. The mechanics would work equally and smoothly amongst all these big corporations and vendors and contractors and stuff. So it took a couple decades to really work it out, to make it a solid, I hate to say it, but a solid governing document, a solid governing entity, a solid governing legislation, if you will, that was created, the Uniform Commercial Code. And if you are conducting commerce, you need to understand the fundamentals of that UCC, the provisions that are there for you to use. Because unfortunately, all commerce in the United States, and I'm not going to talk about the European Union and this and that. That's another discussion in another video, discussing the International Monetary Fund and all that stuff. I'm going to concentrate on stuff in the U.S. for us right now, right? But the Uniform Commercial Code regulates commerce federally and in each state. Most states have converted the UCC to their own versions of the UCC. You'll have the Texas UCC, you'll have the California UCC, the Rhode Island UCC, different variations, but they all use the Federal Uniform Commercial Code as their framework. I've looked at other states' UCCs, and they're almost complete mirrors of the federal UCC. I've looked at some where there's different variations. I have some PDFs. I have files on the UCC. Anything I'm talking about, just message me or post something in the group if you want. Whatever, and I've got, oh God, I've got so many archives of stuff. So if you need something, let me know. I'm sorry, I'm trying to catch up here. Martin Rubio, Martin, Mark Wesley, Private Massachusetts Trust. I'm not sure what you're trying to say there, but I got you, Private Massachusetts Trust. Todd is here. Okay, any other questions, folks? Any other questions, concerns, whatever? I've got about 3-4 minutes here. Anybody else have any questions or concerns or whatever comments you want to throw out there? Once again, I always hope these are helpful and educational, for educational purposes, knowledge base, fundamentals. Just trying to get the information out there, so you can absorb it, so you can analyze it, you can challenge it, you can verify it, but most importantly, you can become actively using the information to your benefit, not to my benefit, not for my prosperity, for yours. Remember, you are Caesar. You are your own Caesar. Do not let anybody, any entity, any governmental entity, do not let them take from Caesar what is not theirs. That's one of the biggest premises to all of this. I will just say one more thing too, that I came in contact with today with one of my friends, also in the ACH group. But there was a discovery made today. I'll try to be just as generic as I can, but there was a discovery of a gentleman today that has been in a fight regarding some business issues and some taxing issues and this and that. And that individual, I'm going to be receiving some information tonight, hopefully to review. But that individual has you talk about an active user and a proactive person. That person has taken over, has taken charge of his prosperity. This person has very, very, very active, tunes of hundreds of pages of documents, motions in courts that he has pursued very, very, very aggressively, from what I'm hearing, and has apparently gotten a lot of stuff dismissed in business and commerce, legally, lawfully, has challenged the courts. And I've said this before, those are the folks that I really, really respect. Those that will do the work, that will get out there, that will dive in, that will challenge, that will learn from the lessons of their activities. And so I hope that I hope that's each and every one of you that will take that active role. Again, I started my journey almost 2 decades ago, so I've never stopped. I have never stopped. Uh, it's a constant quest for me. It's a constant journey, constant mission. Uh, so with that, I don't see any new questions or concerns or whatever coming up. So once again, thanks for sitting at the campfire with me, having a fireside chat here. We're going to bring up trusts, the UCC Uniform Commercial Code, fundamental trust law, trust compilation, trust specifics. So we covered a lot of information in the last two videos here, 2 or 3 videos, whatever it is now. I challenge you, like you'll hear a lot of people say this, don't believe what I'm telling you. Don't believe what I'm telling you. You go out and find it. Go out and verify it. If you need some tools, if you need some reference points, if you need some documents, if you need stuff on PDF, digital format, let me know. I will shoot them out as fast as I get your notice, hopefully. Sometimes there might be a little delay here and there, but I will get them to you. So, it's in Latin, there's a phrase that I like. It's multi unum animorum missione. I'll say that again. It's multi unum animorum missione. That's Latin for many minds, one mission. Many minds, one mission. Hey, there's Jeremy. He likes Latin. Hey, Jeremy, what's going on? Let me say that again because you missed it. I know you love Latin. Multi unum animorum missione. That's Latin for many minds, one mission. I know Jeremy's smiling. He loves Latin. So if there are no other questions or concerns or anything like that, I'm going to go ahead and call it on this one. Feel free to inbox me, whatever. I do have a generic email that I use, and you guys are going to love this email address. It's also on my platform at crestonmedia.net. I've been so busy. I was going to upload a lot of content last weekend, and I got busy helping another person last weekend. So I suspended my activities on the site, but it's crestonmedia.net. And anyway, I knew you'd like that Latin, but anyway, kind of lost my train of thought there for a second. Sorry, I apologize. But any other questions, concerns? Good to go. Thanks for listening, and thanks for being part of the mission. Moving forward, and I wish you all the best. If you need any help, message me, whatever. Oh, I'm sorry. I remember now. I was talking about a generic email that I use. It's also on my site at crestonmedia.net. That's how you get in touch with me via email. The email is livefree UCC1308. Live free UCC1308 at Gmail. Okay. That's my generic email. It's not necessarily, I don't consider it the, private gem of the West. It's an open email. You're welcome to email me. Keep in mind, I get at least 40 or 50, 60, 70 emails, every 1 or 2 days worth, of requests. I'm just one man. I'm sorry. but I probably do answer probably 90 to 95% of those emails. I do catch up. It just takes time. Once again, the email is livefree, LIVEFREEUCC1308 at gmail.com. So by me reading that email to you, I hope all of you like that email, because if you don't know what UCC1308 is, then you should find out. In a nutshell, that means I can't be compelled to perform without my consent. There's a little bit more to it, but that's my email. Livefree, UCC1308 at gmail.com. So with that, folks, I will bid you good night. Thank you for watching. Once again, I always say I hope this helps somebody, somewhere, somehow. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to being with you guys again. Making another video here shortly. Take care. Be well. Be blessed. Whatever. Take care. Be active. Be proactive. I talked about a lot of stuff today. Gave you tools, references, reference points. Knowledge has no value without application. Knowledge has no value without application. So if you don't apply it, whatever. Stay in the corral. I got out of the corral a long time ago. So best wishes. Best wishes to you all. Be well. Be safe. Eyes wide open. Ears turned way up. Be blessed, folks. Thank you. Appreciate your valuable time. Thank you.